Which are what? Not the J type.
I guess nuclear weapons?
The nuclear missiles.
The nuclear, yeah. The Juggalo missiles, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, the 1979 original. Did you know that Gundam as a whole has over 1,000 episodes?
I am not surprised.
So even though Doctor Who, for example, comes out in like 1969, it only has about 800 episodes. So
well, I mean, those seasons, as we call them here, but that's not how they used to call them in Britain, are almost always shorter, right?
Yeah, but they're still episodes, though.
I mean, see, yeah, but if we have a series, they use the word series for what we would call a season, and a series can be as short as 3 episodes or as long as 10 or 12 or even 15. It's more like streaming today, where you have like 8 to 12 episodes, maybe. If you're lucky.
Right. Again, though, I'm not talking about the number of seasons. I'm talking about the number of episodes. The argument you should be making, if you're making the argument I think you're making, would be the length of a Doctor Who episode versus the length of a Gundam episode, which is 24 minutes versus 45 to 50, I think, Doctor Who.
Yeah, because BBC doesn't run commercials either, so
I'm pretty sure they do. That's
BBC
why
America does. They only run BBC, because BBC in Britain is paid by what's called there's basically a tax, right, that you pay to support the BBC. So what they do is they just have bumpers, right? They have an opening, between episodes they would have usually commercials for either next episode or the news, etc. But they don't interrupt their shows usually for commercials the way they did, or they still do in TV here.
I think my other point I think I was going to make is I think that if you consider Gundam to be sci-fi, that it would be the second longest running continuous sci-fi show on TV.
Oh, continuous?
Continuous.
I mean, has that gaps in between the years, so
undropped, let's say.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, you could make the same argument for Doctor Who, which is the number one, one, but it's been dropped for years on end too.
Oh yeah, it ran.
It's considered. I think the idea is that is it running today? Yes. Did it run back then? Yes. Well, it's continuous.
Yeah.
So I think that would make it the second longest running show too. The point being is that anime isn't categorized in the same fields as its live action counterparts.
No.
So everyone's like Star Trek, Doctor Who, Red Dwarf a little bit for some reason. 1988, I think, Red Dwarf is.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gundam's been going a pretty long ass time.
Well, yeah, 1979 to today, basically.
All right, I was just thinking about that because I was telling somebody else about it who I'm trying to get them to watch Gundam as well. So
get the book, yeah.
All right, but we do also have a comment from Heaven, I believe is Heaven72. I think I was saying it as Heaven before because they've commented before, but I think it's actually Heaven72 from the episode Coming Home. Backwards blind shot that actually hits the guy. Now looking back, this is quite typical of Amuro, considering the number of backward blind shots he'd land in the future. Putting that aside, I think Amuro pulled the trigger precisely because he had no idea what was happening. He was scared and acted out of panic. You can't expect him to act all tactical and logical. So I don't want to interrupt for the obvious thing that would interrupt with. The same could be said regarding the "you don't love me" logic jump, as it spurred from the heat of the moment. That being said, I do think there was actual logic behind Amuro's feelings. If you consider the fact that Mom stayed on Earth while Amuro and Dad went to live in space, it's not that big of a stretch to assume the marriage wasn't going well in the first place. And like all teens caught in a broken marriage, Amuro probably had doubts about his mother's love to begin with. Compound that with what happened in this episode, I think it could it could simply be the last straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to Amuro's trust in his mother's love. It's always I've always gotten the impression that Amuro's mom seemed far more concerned about the fact that Amuro shot people over his actual safety. In this sense, she didn't love Amuro. She loved the ideal of her sweet little boy who'd never hurt anyone, and lamented the loss of that instead of worrying about Amuro's livelihood. I could be wrong in my analysis, but Tamino has a habit of making these leaps of logic that don't make sense at first glance when it comes to the character's actions and speeches, but more often than not, if you could read between the lines, you'd see the emotional through line that led to them.
I think I basically took that more or less. That was my explanation or understanding of his actions. Like, this is a teenager who's gone through a difficult situation, and she seems to be more worried about, oh, you turned into this, as opposed to, enemy soldiers were about to pounce on me and could have hurt me, right? Now, you brought the point that even if he made the shot, he was still firing in a crowded room full of children and civilians. So no matter how amazing the shot was, it was pretty irresponsible of him to do that.
Well, his mother was right there, too. He had no idea where his mom was relative to himself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of variance between where you point a gun, right? If I point it this way, there's a whole cone of area it could go.
Yeah.
But I've been number one on that was a stupid shot, Amuro. And you can't expect him to act all tactical and logical. Yeah, I wonder when I can expect that to happen, because it's never been.
Amuro has shown flashes of brilliance, and he's becoming more tactical as time goes along.
This isn't me being hyperbolic. This is me actually saying, name one, because I cannot remember. That doesn't involve engineering.
No. When he was flying with, was it Hayato? When Hayato was first flying with him, and they would both have core fighters, he was giving instructions to Hayato how to fly.
You mean Ryu?
And No, Hayato.
You're not talking about the Luna 2 flight where he instructs Ryu to fly towards the sun and then away from it? To the Gandalf thing.
Yeah.
So I don't remember him telling Hayato anything that Hayato didn't already know. Because remember, my early stuff was Hayato's a fucking genius. Hayato's only gone down in my estimation as time goes on. Because the show kind of wants to ruin him.
It was when they were flying together in atmosphere. This wasn't in Luna 2. And Hayato kind of makes a similar statement to what Ryu says, like, oh, this kid, he has a sharp tactical mind, right? Doesn't always work, but yeah. And also we've seen in fights as he's become more aware of his enemies and stuff like that.
Can't attribute that to him, though. I feel like I can't. Because the whole Gundam is a learning machine element has already been thrown out there. So, even though they haven't talked about it in a long time, it's still there until they, pull it back. Like, oh, it turns out we actually turned that off a long time ago. It's all been you, Amuro. It's all been you.
And even Char commented it when they were having a fight. It's like, oh, he's gotten better, right?
No, yeah, he said he's good.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
So, why is it weird?
I don't know. It just feels like a weird thing for Char to say.
It's fighter pilot talk, right? You realize that the other guy is.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh man, this guy's good. He chopped down 4 guys that were running away from him and actively not engaging with him. It's be like, oh man, that school shooter was fucking amazing. Like, what's a weird thing to say? He's actively, 1, your enemy, and 2, hitting defenseless people. It's like, oh, it's a weird shout out. It's not like when he's fighting Rambaral, right? Where he's actively fighting one-on-one against a guy who's experienced and everything, and it's like, oh, this is a pretty tense fight. Because Ramba just tore the shield in half with the whip, and now, he's got the guy, and now he's got to, roll back into the punch to then be able to punch him in the head. And Rambaral ejects, and it's like, oh, this is an action-filled fight. And if Ramba said, this kid's pretty good, I'd be like, that's pretty good opinion, I think. If the seasoned vet who's actively engaged in melee combat with you says you're good. But this is like, Char zooms past him, and while he's flying past, he cuts off one of Char's arms. And otherwise, he killed 4 of Char's men by hitting them in the back. It's a weird shout out. I don't put a lot of weight into that.
I mean, remember that he was the one who turned the whole attack around after they smashed.
I'm
Captain
talking
Woody.
about the last episode. I think you're talking about the episode before last.
Yeah, if it's continuing combat, they were.
It's
they
not
came back
because
to attack it in.
No, the one I'm talking about where they hit him in the back, they're escaping from planting the bombs. It's not a continued combat.
Yeah. I mean,
they in fact think that they have downtime. Remember, they were about to take a tour of a factory.
Yeah. But the fighting actually still continuing outside, which is kind of weird.
We commented on that at the beginning of that episode. That's when the 2 idiots I don't
care.
Why do we have to? Well, because they're calling it a scheduled bombing. This is weird for another thing, too. So unless they're doing it regularly, how would you know it's even scheduled? But it's also, we're in a remote place. No, you're not. You're watching the bombs.
Right outside your window.
You guys deserved everything you got.
Yeah, they didn't last long.
But yeah, no, I mean, the comment that we're responding to, I think, literally... It's weird because I don't remember agreeing with you at the time. Because we had a long discussion, but I mean...
We took positions opposite. You said that A, the shot was irresponsible, and B, he did make a leap of logic to, you don't love me anymore, right? And I was like, yeah, but I get where he's coming from. Like
Oh, okay. Like, it sounded like you agreed with everything here, and it's like, well, I agree with everything here, and we disagreed back then, so I'm confused about who agreed with what.
Yeah, no, you were like, Amuro, how the hell do you make that shot? And second, why do you make that shot? And I'm more like the comments was like, well, he was in a difficult position. Still responsible. But, I can see why he did it, not whether he would have been good idea or not, right? And then when they step outside, because the soldiers flee, the Sion soldiers, his mother turns to Amuro, goes like, why did you do that? What's going on? And Amuro was like, don't you love me? Right? And he was like, oh, that's a leap of logic. And it's like, I can, and like the commenter said, I can see a kid who is like, we just went through a difficult situation. The first words out of your mouth is, oh, why do you do that? As opposed to, are you all right? Right. As someone who's supposed to care, who you haven't seen in months, weeks, years, probably, how long they were in Site 7, right? And left. I mean, he was a little kid, I mean, 2-3 years away. So, yeah.
Okay, so we got the board.
Well, yeah. Lieutenant Mulligan, okay, he's still alive. The spies, Madison and Ramsey, Buddy Banimoff and Akahana.
They're not spies.
Well, they were the people that planted the bombs. I'm saying that they went all ninja on the situation and 2 of them got killed.
I mean, I don't remember the word is for that though.
3 of them, because Kraft also was there as well.
Saboteurs,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the word I was stretching for.
Yeah, but they were. The thing is, like, they were all dressed in black, and then in comes Char with his bright red and gold uniform or yellow uniform and cape. It's like,
I mean, to be fair, anyone that's not dressed in the Federation uniform is going to stand out.
Yeah, but the whole idea of dressing in black is that you can stick to the shadows or whatever, right?
I mean, technically, they say you should dress in a dark red if you're going to do subterfuge shit.
Yeah.
Because, one, everyone expects a black, and like, you're very suspicious. You're intentionally dressed in that dark black and night versus like a burgundy. It's like, what are you talking about? This is like a fucking regular color. It just happens to be night.
Yeah. Whacking.
Sorry, are you up at Joaquin or something?
No, Joaquin, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You said whacking. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing right now.
Yeah.
I know there's a Joaquin on the board somewhere, so maybe you're just saying his name.
Yeah.
But he's like from the beginning of the show, so I don't know why you're all the way here. I guess unless you were just following lines. So
we
yeah,
really
obviously
major changes because we already knew
we have Woody, and then
Becky.
Woody died. We got Gop, who got added, and Antonio. The green line down here ties everyone at the base together.
Babysitter Cullen.
Shu's dead. I had to use the
Yeah.
image from him back from Origin because he doesn't get a face in this show, or at least not yet. No, unless he does like a flashback later.
Who got the shoe?
We got Boris Kinev.
Rescued
Yeah, he died 2 episodes ago. And then Kraft, Akahana, and Ivanov, who died last episode. These 2, I guess, got away free because I didn't see them die.
No.
And of course, they all tie along the screen line up to Char.
Although that's weird because Char, they wouldn't see them but Char, when he escapes alone. He was the only mobile suit that was there.
These two were by themselves. You remember there was 2 mobile suits that the kids ran across the top of?
Yeah.
Maybe that was theirs? I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
All right. Anything else of note?
Not that I recall top of my head, but then again, I'm a bit sleepy. And on top of that, I have a lot of anime swirling in my head. Not more than Theta, because he has to deal with the entire channel, but still.
Oh, that's the explanation I gave, I think, last week. I don't remember during which show. But 11 shows. Well, technically, like 14, because it's the Patreon requests are 1 episode a month.
Yeah.
So I was thinking it's 11 slots, maybe 14 shows. But thankfully, I count some of those as just the fun time shows. I don't keep notes or boards about anymore. Jujutsu Kaisen, Magic Knight Ray Earth. There's another one. Oh, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else I got to keep track of. Especially when they're mysteries like Infinite Rivus, which is turning out to be pretty good. Lost in Space. Not Lost in Space. Oh god, it's just suddenly escaping me. It's a classic. It's a false classic, but it's a classic.
How can it be a false classic?
In that it's been mythologized as being true, but it's actually not true. In fact, the real story that one could say it's based off of is actually about people coming together and not falling apart. Lord of the Flies. But in space is what Infinite Rivus is supposed to be like. And so far, we're only just getting to the Lost in Space part where all the adults have been killed by 2 infiltrators that came aboard to kill everybody to steal a thing and destroy the ship. And otherwise, now we just got the 400 students fighting against one another or forming cliques and whatnot.
I mean, what I remember for Lord of the Flies is that everybody started killing each other at the end.
Yeah, but the real life story of a bunch of students, they came together and survived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's my expectation of Infinite Rivus is that they're going to start, because there's already like a back alley gang which helped to take down the 2 guys that killed the adults and saved everyone, but they're also like beating up one of the navigator crew to get information from him, so clearly they're already kind of manipulating people. Yeah, so it's kind of I'm building up to it. People have said, oh, that's a good pick. I'm like, good, glad to hear it.
Glad I'm not wasting my time.
Well, I pick these shows sometimes just out of the blue because I see the name and I'm like, that's an interesting name, let me look up something about it. Oh, it's like Lord of the Flies in space. That's a pretty interesting concept. I'm down. And then sometimes people are like, that's a good show. That's a good job picking that. I'm like, oh, well, okay.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
All right, but back to Gundam. Of course, I have a whole thought section, as I always do. So, Char's attack on the Jabaro base hinges on the forces sent from California base. California essentially being right about where the White base originally came down on its descent to Earth, meaning we've crossed the entire world by this point, are in fact fighting Zeon forces from the original command that we were fighting from the first time we saw Earth.
And also the fact that they don't say McQueeve, but that's not just the way it's pronounced. At least in the anime. Already fled Earth, and that command got destroyed. So,
well, technically, McQueeve was Europe command. This would have been Garma.
Yeah. So there are no other forces to draw on unless they go to Africa. The
Well, no,
Africa
there's plenty
Command.
of other commands. There's
Africa Command.
I don't remember if his name's
West
Garcia. I think
Eastern
it's
Europe,
Garcia, but we don't know
Garcia.
where he's at. But he was one of the commanders we saw in Origin that commands a region.
And also there's the West Coast, America West Coast Command, which is where California is. Because most of Asia is, I think, in Federation hands. Now most of Europe is in
Well, most of
Federation
Asia was
hands.
in Xeon hands.
Yes, yeah.
Odessa was the border between Xeon controlled
Yeah.
territory, and technically Odessa was only about the mines.
Mhm.
So who knows? Assumedly, they didn't pull a teenager playing an RTS game and like, I'll pull everything from Asia. You sure, sir? They control North America. They control bits of North America, don't they? Shouldn't we keep the border, safe? Anyway, Hayato mentions that Amuro's physical took a really long time, and Amuro mentions that they were just taking brain scans and X-rays, same as everyone else, right? But in a questioning manner that no one gets a chance to respond to. Considering Woody is here, Matilda's fiancé, and Matilda was going on about Amuro's chance to be an Esper, I have to wonder if, acting upon that, his physical took longer because they were testing him for that.
Yeah, it seemed like. Okay, no, I'm not going to say anything more because this is Theta territory.
It's all my territory.
Kind of. Yeah. But,
White Base is going to be assigned to the T&M fleet, but will only be notified just before the operation. Except, just like before with Odessa, we the audience, are being given no information about what the operation is, seemingly until we get there. Obviously, I wrote that note before the second episode, which I guess is the idea that decoy operations, but I doubt the entire T&M fleet is going to be decoy operations. Also, they arranged the T&M fleet before they introduced the concept that the White Base is a good decoy.
Yeah.
Gop says that if Mirai's father were still alive today, she wouldn't have had to emigrate to Side 7. Accepting, of course, that we saw her father flying her to Side 7 himself in Origin. That is, unless, I guess he could mean that he died after he dropped her off, and she decided to take up permanent residence on Side 7 after the fact. I suppose there's also the detail that they called him a politician, where before he was a businessman, though I suppose there's nothing stopping him from being both.
But it lends its creed to perhaps that the government, the civilian governments in the air sphere, especially Federation, essentially is a corporatocracy, right? The corporations are the ones that are really running things. Because remember that in Origins, he what's his name?
Tam
wanted to have help from
Psionic?
No, not Psionic. The other company in the
starts
moon.
with an A?
Yeah. Anaheim.
I should remember that. I grew up in Maryland.
Yeah. Anaheim Technologies to try to take over, take back Site 7.
Oh, then not
Site
Tam.
7.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about Amuro's dad, Tem. You're talking about Jimbo.
No. Jimbo Rao. Yeah.
See? All up here. I just have to guess what you're talking about. No,
I thought you were talking.
I thought you were referencing Tem having to cowtail to Anaheim and all the other people on the Bureau about getting the shit made and its effectiveness. In which case, my counter argument was going to be that Bureau also then has to cowtail to GOP and the military structure about what they're going to give resources for. So that would be my counter to the whole corporate government thing.
Well, I'm saying the civilian side of the corporate government could be that, right? Because we only see the government right now, it's all military, right? And the only thing outside of, let's say, local control, like a city, like a mayor, like in a city, like in Luna, the Luna City had a mayor. New York City had a mayor, which is supposed to be in the West Coast, which is kind of weird.
I can still argue that one. The fact that they were in California at the time.
And that's why I say New York has to be in the West Coast of the United States in order to be near to California. So otherwise, it's in New York. But yeah, if it's not New York City, it's New Yak City. So
Yeah, but we've already done that,
yeah.
The Grand Canyon, they're called something else, and Lake
Havasu,
Mead, I think they also call it
Lake
something
Mead, yeah.
else. But they call it very much close to it, so that you know where it's at, even though we're not going to tell you the actual name for some reason.
So that's also what town was happening, but also and when they mentioned Psionic, essentially they said that Psionic and Xeon were basically one and the same, right?
Well,
In a
no,
way.
it's a corporation that works for Xeon, because they were independently making mobile suit stuff before Xeon incorporated. I don't know before they declared themselves.
We do see,
so I guess the company may have named itself after Xeon, which then the country also did, independently of one another.
Yeah.
The revelation later where the country actually named itself after the corporation.
So it's
welcome to Xeon, home of Xeonic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Ironically, it's not all over the place because we don't have enough information to say it's spread out. It's just maybe we clearly know the military side because that's what we've been seeing, both in Xeon and in Federation. The civilian aspects, outside of a few rich people and what's his name?
You haven't given me any hint to know who you're talking about.
Corporate leadership. We don't see any independent,
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by when you say corporate leadership, because the only guy I can think of is the Anaheim manager that met with Tem, who was nameless.
Mirai's father, who was also
but we don't know what Shu's business was, other than the fact that his name was on the side of a ship. But that could just be.
I think they do mention it. No, in Origins, I think they mentioned the company they come from because it was him and Mirai come to see. What's his name?
John.
Spanish guy.
Come on, get there, Don.
Don.
Starts with an M. Remember a name. You're literally on the board. You can just scroll up without having to deal with me.
Don Tebow.
There you go. No. Oh, sorry, I was going with Don Mass. With Don Mass Tebow.
Don Mass Tebow.
Sorry, Tebow Mass. Don doesn't even have to be in there.
And when they literally
but there was no suggestion of what his business actually was, just that they were business friends.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be the CEO of this corporation. Like, oh, you're the CEO of this. What that corporation is, we never found out. But it's important enough that he could come in to try to convince him. Also, I don't
believe that was told to us by Tebow. I believe that was told to us by an investigator that was outside the building. What are you doing here? You can't be here. Oh, don't you know that's from Yushima Industries? Yeah. That said, it's never told to us what they do. And all we know is that his name's on the outside of the ship when they're transporting Mirai to Side 7.
Yeah.
But again, that could just be like a Trumpism, right? Put your name on the side of everything you own.
But still, still a corporate agent, I suppose, or CEO or something.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying we don't know what it is.
Well, they call him now a politician, which could lead to that there might be some overlap between one or the other.
Well, I mean, that's never been impossible. Reagan, for example, was an actor before he was a politician.
Yeah, but in the United States, in theory, you have
Ross Perot was a businessman who wanted to be president. I mean, it's never been an impossibility.
No, but I'm talking about the fact that you're supposed to divest your assets. You're supposed to.
Yeah. Well,
once you become president. Here, you don't have any hints or whatsoever. It's like, oh, he was just a politician. Like, oh, so he ran for office or got elected or selected for office while he was in the corporation and still, I guess, remained.
For all we know, he could have become a politician after he dropped Mirai off. There's a period of several months that we don't know what happened to anybody. That we only pick it up once the show gets to them.
The war was already going on, so could have been anything.
Yeah. Not for nothing, Char knew his invasion force was too small to do the job, and we saw Xeon's forces getting blown out of the sky on arrival. but they still managed to break through multiple base entrances and apparently show that the general models are kinda shit compared to all the R&D Xeon has done to improve its designs against the Gundam. We only see the GMs getting blown up. Not one GM is shown defeating a Xeon mobile suit.
Yeah, but
They
it's weird
chose in
because
their first appearance of the GM to show them only lose.
yeah, which is weird because then we're shown that like regular weapons seems to be able to blow, and fighters are capable of blowing up way, like not only Sakus but like Rig Doms out of the sky.
Well,
right?
these are fighters we've never seen before.
Yeah, but still, I mean, fighters and up to this point, fighters were and like tanks and stuff like that were not really able to stand up to any mobile suit, and later on an advanced suit like a Dom.
I don't
right?
remember seeing any of the tanks succeed, only the
No.
fighters.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
Well, I'm saying those we've never seen any of the fighters outside of Origin, and those were different fighters. So this could just
Yeah.
be an improvement in
Or a new-
fighter
a new-
R&D. So again,
Yeah,
obviously their mobile suit R&D is doing shit,
Mm.
except for obviously whatever they're doing to improve the Gundam. Kika crying, "Fra, I want to go home," is one of the saddest things in the show so far, to my recollection. It was sadder in the rewatch for me, being able to hear everything more clearly and knowing the context going in. But when we watched it the first time, that's why I was saying, can't be mad at anyone. Fuck! Because I was upset that the other kid made Kika cry and want to go home in the first place. To a place they're actively pushing her away from. But then that kid starts crying because all he wants to do is go home too. And it's like, they're all just kids being kids, and I can't be mad at any of them because even the jerk kid that made our girl cry is coming from an extremely understandable place. I guess there's also the double down of seeing them having fun and then having that ripped out from underneath them with enough sadness to make them cry. It's just one of those things in media that immediately gets to me. And I suppose for the viewer, remember that the channel is called Stone-Faced Reactions. I've shed tears plenty of times on this channel where my facial expressions still haven't changed. It's just how I am.
I think we both have the same reaction because it's like, oh, this kid's being a jerk, right? Being a bully. But then when the other two kids with Kika go like, oh, you shouldn't be like that. He's like, but that's when he breaks down and all the other kids stop playing because they all realize what's going on, right? Because I feel like they were playing because what else are they going to do, right?
The other kids aren't playing. The other kid, that's what the blue-haired kid is using as an example of, you're playing now, but eventually you'll just become like the rest of us, and they look around and everyone's like in a malaise because, we've played. There's nothing new here. Now we're stuck waiting. And Kika starts crying because, she understands, oh no, they're abandoning us. Fra, I just want to go home. Because that's, again, the sadness that she's calling for Fra, who's essentially her mother at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because she goes, Mom, Dad, and then Fra, I just want to go. Ah, damn it, it's getting at me.
What actually happened? I mean, the parents are dead, right? The parents
we don't know.
The three kids.
We don't know because it seems like the parents came with them on the little trolley thing, but that may have just been the kids that we saw. Because in my memory, it's a pan back shot. Anyway, it's I think it's Let's punches the kid in the head, for making Kika cry, and then that's when he starts crying that he wants to go home too. So it's that none of these kids are different from one another. He just seems like a jerk, but he's a kid and also in the exact same position.
Yeah.
Because my go-to for situations like this, did you ever watch Made in Abyss?
I heard about it, but no, I haven't watched.
Yeah, well, without spoiling much, not spoiling much, there's a character that their best friend begs the main characters to kill because basically they've been rendered into an almost animalistic state of not being able to interact with the world around them and basically completely disabled. Like, no arms, no legs, nothing like that. They've got basically like a giant cross mouth in the front of their face now. And to make them comfortable, the friend has given them like a child's bedroom filled with like toys and everything around them. So they go to actually kill them because one of the kids has like a cybernetic weapon on their arm that they can fire, which disintegrates everything. The problem is that the friend they want to kill is basically immortal in this state. You can't kill them. All you can do is hurt them trying to kill them because they can still feel pain, but they're immortal in this state. So the idea is that his weapon is strong enough to completely disintegrate her. So they put out like this little play mat in this like nice little field and surround her with all her favorite toys and everything. It's like, oh god, it's so fucking sad. Like I broke down crying every time I think about it too. It's just like, god
damn.
To the point where like they're about to do it and she's like, no way, because because we even get like flashbacks to when she was still human and everything like that. All the torture that they went through and everything. That's why they say Made in Abyss is like the horrid bull show to make you cry and everything. But that's what it gets me like thinking about this, is that it's not the same as that, but it is, hey, look at these kids, they're having fun. Hey, I'd like soft serve ice cream, please. That's all. And then the child aspect just ripped right out. Like, oh, remember? You're in a fucking war. Things are horrible.
The kids are trying their best, but it's also how helpless the kids are. They can't change anything. They can't do anything, which also is a nice contract. What happens when Kika and the gang sort of take charge, right? Oh, we see bad guys. We're going to take care of the bombs, right? They were being proactive, where children are just expected to just, be children, right? Just be there. And the adults are trying to do their best for them, but what can they do, right?
Well, my next note here explains why I have a red line going from Ramsey to the kids. So, Ramsey ties up the kids once they stumble upon them planting the bombs and apologizes to them after tying them up, saying, "Please don't think ill of me." And for half a second, I was going to put him in the same category as Big John and Clamp. Big John went out of his way to help civilians, including a little boy, and Clamp, during an attack, at least tried to shoo the kids away from where he was setting up a bomb.
Yeah.
Then it occurred to me, this jackass Ramsey is apologizing, but he's also tied the kids up in the room where all the bombs are set and just leaves them there. He was totally going to let them be killed in the explosion, regardless of what he said.
Yeah. It's I can't help myself but be a monster. Please don't treat me like such. It's like, well, don't act like a fucking monster.
Monster. They're a bunch of like kids. He could have just like grabbed them,
and
thrown them out of the room. Like maybe
Yeah.
I understand that maybe he's trying to like, I can't let you out of here, otherwise other people are gonna know. But take them with you then. I don't know. They're fucking kids. What are they gonna do? I mean, at least Clamp has the situation of, I'm in this attack. I've got nothing. I can't do anything about the fact kids are here. Move out of the way. Move out of the way. This is a bomb. Move. Weird Amuro thing again. When the kids go zooming past Kai, Hiato, and Amuro after they got all the bombs, Japanese subs Amuro says, "Those voices were Cats and Let's. The two boys only." The English dub says, "That was Kika, Cats and Let's," acknowledging everyone.
Huh? I mean, he probably heard them and not heard Kika, right? Oh, Kika was screaming her head off, so should have heard her.
Yeah, just weirdly, sometimes misogynistic Amuro.
Yeah.
Women can't fight. By the way, I wonder what Sailor's advice would be right now. Just some small props to Char's plan. Had the kids not shown up, not only would the bombs have destroyed the mobile suit factory, but 3 Gundam pilots would have been taking a tour and been killed at the same time. A real hat trick.
And not just any Gundam pilots.
Well, there's only, I guess technically you could say there's 4 Gundam pilots, but there's only 3 Gundam pilots. You say not just any Gundam pilots. It's like as if, what?
Oh, you have pilots in the GM, so and those are Gundams.
No,
so,
I mean those are general model.
Yeah,
they're not labeled as Gundams, though. They're not labeled as Gundams. They're general model.
Yeah, you might be
Yeah, work on your memory, my guy. They've not been called Gundams. No one on the show has called them Gundams. They've just been called General Model. So as far as I'm concerned, they're mobile suits. Right? So, again, your memory, spoilers. So, there's only like 4 Gundam pilots right now. And 3 of them, the main 3, were about to tour a factory.
Yeah. Sorry, there was a fly here.
No, I assumed you weren't trying to kill Vincent Price. He's already dead. I'm sending you an image. Apropos of having this sarcastic conversation with you. Kai's hand image. Is that like an okay and fuck you at the same time?
I have no idea.
That's what it is. It's literally this. It's the okay, it's the okay and fuck you.
It would fit Kai. That he would do both at the same time. But I think he's going for the okay.
I mean,
especially when the kids are there, he can go like.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. It's he's giving him he curls back the other fingers, so it's literally a fuck you and an okay, but fuck you, okay, fuck a.
Okay.
Yeah. It just stuck out to me. I don't know why. It's like what is that hand gesture?
Yeah.
All right. So to the Sayla/Char situation. This time, Char says Artesia like 5 feet away from her, and when she turns to face him in surprise, that's when he confirms that it's her. The oddity of calling her Artesia, though, is that even Char has known her as the Sayla name longer than he has as Artesia. It'd make more sense if she started calling him Edward rather than Casval. It's like that DC joke. If he suddenly called her Sayla and she asked, "Why did you say that name?" Because it'd be just as random for Char to know some random crew member of White Base's name that just happened to be his sister's fake name, as it would for him to say the name of one of Zeon's kids, which a lot more people would be likely to know.
I think it's one of those things that's like, for example, if you know more than one language and you're in shock, even if you speak most of the time, you speak one language, but your mother tongue is another, you might default to swearing in that language or using those words in that language because it's a sort of older, deeper memory, right?
Well, I just mean that they've been like Artesia and Casval for like 3 years of their life, and then they called each other Sayla and Edward for like 15 years. So it's like it's more ingrained to call them the name that you've been saying for such a long time. It's like somebody who's not accepted your nickname anymore. So if he said Sayla, it should be weird that some random Zeon guy knew the name of a White Base officer rather than some Zeon guy knowing the name of Zeon's kids, which they should all know, by the way. If the whole conceit is that the Principality of Zeon was founded on the beliefs and ideology of, Zeon Zumdekun, and you know that his kids were alive at some point in your lifetime, by the way.
Yeah.
That those would be the names that everyone should know. I mean, maybe saying them out loud, not so much. But those are names everyone knows versus Sayla. Who the fuck is saying Sayla? It's weird to me.
I don't know. I think it's because, again, they were siblings, and siblings sort of default. It's like defaulting to a nickname that your sibling from that nobody else knows, right? Like,
again, if you haven't called them that name for 15 years and you've called them a different name for 15 years, you should only use that name if you need to prove after the fact, like, Sayla, is that you? How do you know my name? Because I'm Edward, or, because I was once Casval, something like that. You should use the name you'll use for 3 years of your life as proof of the fact that you are.
Why only 3 years of their lives? He was what? How old was he when he left? Well,
like 5 or 6? Yeah, 6 or 7. How much of those are talking years? Yeah, you don't add their full lifespan. You don't talk your whole life.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I don't know, and they're like 21, 22 now. So I'm giving like wiggle room here, but the idea is still they assumed new identities and they used those fake identities even in, private.
He's 19. He's like 21 or 22, I think.
He's like 21 or 22 and Amuro is like 16, 17.
Yeah.
I know we've covered the 8. Here's the thing. This is also, by the way, I think goes a little ways to explain why I get so defensive sometimes when we have seed conversations.
Yeah.
Is that I went through the whole show, came up with all of these thoughts and very specific like notes about stuff. You weren't there for it, and then you argue with me about a thing that I no longer have my notes for. My memory is gone from the moment. All I have left is the very strong argument for what I had before, and it's like, God damn it, I can't argue this. I don't have my 5 paragraphs of notes about it anymore. And now I just sound stupid. I sat through 49 episodes. I know all this shit. So I just get real defensive. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So same thing as that when it comes to the earlier episodes where I had much more powerful arguments written down. Like with Griff, the argument was more so, what's your source? Like I would write bibliographies of where I got my math from on how far somebody can fall before it being a deadly fall. I'm going back to a seed argument with that one. That's the one I joked with you and Justin about. I think I joked with you about it. Yeah, no, because I brought this up before in a Mobile Suit Gundam one.
Yeah.
When it's not Artemis. Sorry, it's Artemis and Seed. When Artemis gets attacked, Kira is like has 2 guns hold on him because they want him to get the secrets of the Gundam, and he kicks one of the guys out of the cockpit. And he goes falling down. It's like, well, how high up is the cockpit? It's about 13 feet up of the total 18 meters. Sorry, 13 meters up from the total 18 that is the size of the Gundam. How far is a deadly fall? Well, I looked it up from 2 different societies that deal with high fall elevation, one of them being people that operate on telephone poles and whatnot. So, bibliographies of information to argue with Griff.
Okie dokie.
My last note here. At the very least, Char gave Sayla the Vader speech. Join me and all of that. Mirai has to be suspicious of Sayla now, though, given the whole you didn't see the Zeon soldier standing right in front of you thing.
Did you say that? I don't remember that one.
Yeah. Mirai shoots at Char, and then he runs away, and then Mirai comes running up on Sayla, and she's like, did you see somebody? I heard you firing your gun. And she's like, you didn't see the Zeon soldier standing right in front of you? And she's like, no, I didn't. I guess I must have missed them. And then the episode ends with Mirai giving like just weird looks at Sayla.
Mm-hmm.
Like the thing to be suspicious about Sayla stuff is that not all of the stuff incorporates the same people. Like when Sayla whispers to
the prisoner, yeah.
His name starts with a C, and all I can remember is Doan's Island, because those are both C names. Yeah. The people there, I think, were Ryu, Amuro, and Bright. I don't remember who else was there. It was 3 guys, but Mirai wouldn't have that suspicion to align with this suspicion.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they heard her whispering to the guy, did they? No.
They didn't hear what she said. They saw her whispering to him, and they asked what she was whispering about, and she said that he was trying to tempt her to escape. So she lies about a different, obviously. Do you know Char Aznabal? You know Char the Red Comet?
Yeah.
And are you a Zeon officer? Hey, what are you 2 talking about? I was trying to bribe me to escape.
With the cord that he pulled out of his ass later on.
Well, no, it would have been his dick. Remember, from the front.
Yeah.
I guess it could have gone dick to taint. That's how it was going through. But, I mean, well, because my thought process is if you remember the TNG episode from, what was it, season 1? I think it's season 1 with the Klingons that turn out to be prisoners. They go to the brig and then they assemble a disruptor from like all the bits and pieces, all of their clothes.
Yeah.
Except for this, it was like literally Like, they didn't do any inspection on him, I guess. Although I guess you'd have to be, like, real hard up to, like, inspect something like, that pube is a bit longer than the other ones.
Drop your pants.
You know, the Inspector Clouseau of, like, TSA
And
agents.
later on, when we went to see it, you were like, that's why they stripped these prisoners into their underwear because, they didn't want them to have anything secret. And turns out they did have something secret as well.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, because we watched C later on, and there was a similar scene where somebody escapes. I don't remember who it was. And you're like, oh, okay.
I legit don't remember what you're talking about.
Anyway, not important right now.
I don't remember any prisoners in Seed. I guess maybe except for Athrun, but he's not naked. I guess technically Athrun also holds Kigali prisoner, but he doesn't strip her naked either.
Anyway, not important.
Well, it is, just not now. I mean, anything else?
Nope. Not at the moment.
Well, I guess we could hop on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
How many episodes do we have left?
Well, 31, so
After
I think
today, we'll have 11.
11, yeah. Yeah, we're in the final stretch. At least of 79.
Yep, then we'll have the 3 compilation movies, which, are to Tamino's original vision, as I understand it. And while we're doing the movies, I can set up the character rankings thing. So they'll basically give us 3 weeks to get that done in, since it has the origin characters in it and this one.
Yeah.
Because then we'll move on to just, individual shows, or I guess movies and individual shows, which will be a lot less characters to deal with each ranking. I guess probably should do like a top 5 episodes thing.
Yeah.
But again, that is at least 5 weeks away from being able to start that.
Yeah.
Sorry, once again, have to talk over the entire opening, so can't just leave that there.
Now, I wonder, going back, it's like we see the galaxy in the back, and it's like, or nebula, it gives the impression, if you were the first time you watch this, that this is a galactic level, sci-fi show, instead of being just the Earth and the Moon, mostly. I remember this is the part where I said the chart should have done that earlier. I would have saved his men, but I think people who work on their chart should be more like, yeah, we should find another boss because everybody dies under his command.
What? It's like the meeting room from the SDF Macross.
Yeah. Giant eye thing.
Is that the one that Caecilia's on?
Yeah. It's a giant asteroid too.
Well, then it's not the one Caecilia's on. We've never seen a giant asteroid Xeon base before. Spoiler you. The one I'm talking about was before the Battle of Odessa, which was just a round, like almost a Federation style. Not an asteroid base, just a base.
Oh, a fiancé. Interesting.
You don't remember? It's what Shuya
I mean-
was joking about when he was dropping her off on side
Yeah.
7. Oh, look at that. Looks like a Roy character if I ever saw one. Look, I've seen enough pictures of him when I'm making the board. He's like in the middle of a bunch of characters we already know.
何の用だい？
どこにいるんだよ。
ブライトさん、お呼びだぜ。
なんです。スレッガー要注意だ。今日付けでこっちに。
Please make Kai look more like a little boy in the scene.
あります。
Oh, he's always in the paper plane. You know.
こんな綺麗なお嬢さんとご一緒できるなんて。
よろしく、未来ヤシマです。
よろしく。
Smell my paper
よろしく
airplane.
お嬢さん。
セーラーマスです。
あんた男の人のことで悩んでいる層が出てるよ。
え？
よ、俺のねぐらどこ？
Very intuitive, this guy, huh?
諸君らの勇気ある行動にかかっている。この戦いに我が連邦軍が勝利した暁には、今日という日は偉大な一日として国民に記憶されるであろう。全将兵の健闘を祈る次第である。
体の大きいとこなんか死んだ竜さんにそっくりだ。竜みたいに優しいかな。お調子者らしいぜ。
さて、いよいよ発進だ。
I don't know.
持ち場につけ。
The kids are they smart
ドッ
mouthing.
キングロック解除。ホワイトベース発進。
I don't. It's the moment they start comparing him to Ryu that I feel like this guy's gonna be
Yeah.
a disappointment for the kids. Like a conversion from fun stepdad to drunk stepdad.
クリア、ハッチ開け。
Yeah, that's certainly not fun. Only you're old enough, unless you're old enough to get drunk with drunk stepdad, and he's a fun drunk, which is that's one hell of a roll of dice right there. If drunk stepdad is not the kind of fun that then goes and also gets falls asleep when he's done drunk, then yeah, you're screwed.
うわ、鳥だ。
手の空い
The
てるものは作業を見ろ。
flamingos.
フラミンゴの群れだ。
ビデオに撮っておきます。
よし、許可するぞ。
Overly impressed by butterflies and now flamingos.
木馬はどうなっているか。
I mean, significant portion of that crew is from space, right? I mean, they've been on Earth for a while, but still, right? Yeah, that's a lot of engines right there.
Oh yeah, I think it was the lieutenant behind him too. Not the new one,
Yeah.
not Chikawan,
No.
but what's his name from the board?
Mulligan.
Looked like him.
30分ほどで戦闘圏内に入れます。ご苦労だった。キシリア殿はお怒りだったのだ。ああ。我ながらそうは思うよ。
I don't know much about this new lieutenant. Big Bro.
木馬は追い切れなかった。シャア大佐、
Big bro.
ご覧になります
Not
か。
big bro. Big
I
bro.
said Big Bro.
うん、
Yeah.
見せてもらおうか。
Yeah,
It's
you're
one
saying
closer
Big Bro. There's not two B's. It's Big
Oh, I know.
Bro.
高速戦闘力に関しては
When you said it, you thought I said big bro. Not big bro. It's big bro.
しかし
Yeah, Big Bro. That's what I said.
Yeah.
ああ、ドムが2機とテスト中止のモビルアーマーが。ドム
What I was about to say is I don't know much about this new lieutenant, but he gives me one episode energy.
改造型か。ザクタイプよりははるかに使えます。
急いでくれよ。出撃が近いんだから。
パイロット
Are they?
Well, he lives in the world, and he told us it is, so I have to assume it's so. Just the fact that the Black Tri-Stars didn't give us a lot of positive information on that one.
このままですと20分で追いつかれます。直撃が来ます。
よし、コースこのまま。ポイント E3 で加速する。
はい。そうすれば、ホワイトベースはいかにも月へ向かうように見えるわね。
それが付け目さ。
Which is still occupied by Zeon?
必ず来る。
セーラ、まだそこにいたのか。G アーマーをチェックする時間もないぞ。
すみません。
なぜわかるんだ。シャアが来ると。
いえ、ホワイトベースってあの人と因縁あるでしょ。だから
怖いのか。
怖くない人。
Also, not essentially true because we haven't seen him for like
どうも。
a lot of episodes now.
疲れてるんでしょ。それで怯えているんだと思うわ。
だろうな。
Also, she lied to me about not seeing a Xeon officer in that cave.
Yep.
Which I and Mirai somehow couldn't recognize was
この
Char.
ままですと月へ向かいます。
月だとキシリア様のグラナダへ向かうのか。まさかな。お、引っかかったんだよ。我々は。
Talk about, yeah.
木馬はおとりだ。今頃南米のジャブローからは別の艦隊が発進している頃だろう。ならば転身してそれを。本気か。我々が背中を見せれば木馬が攻撃してくる。この機会に先制攻撃。
Also, what are we supposed to solo a base from a fleet from Jaburo?
Yeah. I mean, now that
待ってください。
the Federation has mobile suits of their own, yeah, it's not as easy as it used to be. Even with Char.
It wouldn't be easy at all anyway. It would be a one ship versus a lot of ships.
Ah, but remember that you have the Red Comet there, and he
In a
kicks ass.
Zok.
Huh?
In a Zok. Not a Zaku. Not his red
It's
comet, a red Zok. Which
Yeah.
is shit. I didn't put it down in my notes, but that new one that you were laughing about, with all the purple shit coming off of it, its
Yeah,
ability was to jump several times higher.
that's it.
You know, we've got rockets, right?
男の人のことで悩んでいるね。
もしザビ家に対して仇を討つためなら、そんな生き方私には認められない。
チースカイ行きます。
Why not? You're in the war, you're fighting too. You're both literally trying to achieve the same goal, just for different reasons.
I don't think she wants revenge. I think she wants to defeat Xeon, but not.
Yeah,
or-
but I mean, you're both going to achieve the same end at the end of the day.
了解。
気をつけてください。スピードを上げると重力に引っ張られて落下します。絶えず上昇する気分で飛行してください。
ありがとう。
Dig up, stupid.
来た。
Fly as if you're ascending. It's just a stupid
yeah.
comet. Like, no, I want to fly right straight to the ground. Like Matilda did.
Yeah.
見てろ。
早い。
このビグロのスピードを避けられるか。
What did I say? He's going to be a one-episode villain.
なんてパワーなの。けど引っ掛け方が悪かったわ。ビーム砲で。まさかこのモビルアーマー、兄さんがパイロットだなんて。
ダメだ。セイラさん、上昇するんです。
What, she pointed straight at the ground? What do we think is happening
アンテ
here?
ナも出してください。
Well, she got thrown, and she's
Yeah, I
trying to.
understand that, but we saw the Earth behind her. She's facing this way. She's literally aimed up.
Yeah,
No,
but
you
she's
gotta
trying to
ascend.
get.
What the fuck do you think I'm doing?
手法の方に回っていただけませんか。注意。
条件がある。
条件。
ホワイトベースを敵に向けてくれ。完成飛行しているからできるはずだと思うがな。
しかしそれでは追いつかれる。
じゃあやらねえ。当てる自信がねえからよ。
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that you live in the brick now. Somebody
Yeah.
arrest this man.
Yeah. Well, they
Look.
don't arrest people for leaving, so
Yeah.
I don't think he. Yeah. Any of the other ship is like.
Fair, bright.
Yeah, I was like. Oh, we're making requests now. Fuck you.
Word's gonna spread throughout the whole fleet that you need to get positioned on white base. You're probably going to die in an attack if you're in the hangar, but otherwise
you
you
in the
do
break.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Which, if you think about it, it's like.
やってくれやってくれ。
Good parenting.
木馬のやつ、
Yeah.
なかなか手慣れてきた。艦長が変わったのか。しかし、まさかとは思うが、民間人が。
No, they don't have a new captain. They have the same captain they always had. He just got better. You spend half the series not even being there. Therefore, how the hell you know what
あ
happened?
の時のアルテイシアは軍服を着ていた。聡明で
Well, because he thinks RT's are civilians, so if they're joining civilians to the military crew, because I guess he doesn't put it together that she left Side 7 with them.
よし、あと3秒で砲撃中止。当てろよ。ごめんよ、悪気じゃないんだ。
Though the next one might be.
注意。一言言っておくが、あなたは私より年上だが指揮権は私にある。それは当然だ。これはどうも。だから頼んでるんだ。ホワイトベースの手法を使えるように早いところ回れ右をしてくれと。今は無理だ。もう少し待ってくれ。
パワーが上がらない。どうして上がらない。
I guess because he punctured the shield?
プラス12度。
ミサイルの弾幕を張るってのはこういう風にやるのよ。
So you know he's a cool guy because he got the skull motif on the helmet.
Yeah.
下へ回り込んだのか。
行くぞ。
よくやるぜ。下へと回り込んだら。
I mean, that's where your giant fucking mechanical arms are at. It's like where you
Yeah.
want them to be.
敵3機のうちの1機はモビルアーマークラスのようです。ガンキャノン発進。急がせてください。
カイ、何してるんだ。
ほらいろいろあってね。カタパルト OK よ。
アムロとセイラを援護してくれ。
了解。行きますよ。
Why was it a long story?
Because the writers were not going to tell you why he was delayed, basically.
砲台として使う予定だ。いいな。
了解しました。
Well, it's just that last time there was a long story. It was the convoluted process in which Ryu got into a core fighter, and then we had to backflash to why everyone blamed themselves.
手法の射撃をやってもらいたいものだな。未来さん、船は任したからね。頼んだよ。
I thought I was gonna like this guy. People indicated that this was like Roy. I mean, I know he's supposed to be inspired by Roy. Or Roy's inspired by him, yeah.
Him.
Oh,
Yeah.
in which case they did a better job with Roy.
Well, the whole thing talking about that they're going to space, you can see the Gundam DNA in Macross because the whole we're in space, we're going to Earth, and now we're going back to space again. Storyline.
セイラさん、カイさんか。よし、この間にガンダムに乾燥させてもらう。
What, while Cell was being attacked by the, Dom?
やってみるか。直撃したらおしまいだが、落下速度を落とさないと。よし。いいですか。ドッキングに入ります。
What that must look like from the outside.
That he's firing on her?
That asshole's attacking my sister!
大丈夫ですか。
ええ。アムロ、急いでね。
はい。
アムロ、あのモビルアーマーのパイロット、どういう人だと思って。
え、なぜですか。
いいのよ。アムロ、ドムが来たわ。急いで。
はい。
アムロ。
大丈夫。なんとかします。
I guess of all people, she's the one who hasn't. Even though she knows that he pilots red stuff, Tachi told her that before he died. Even though Tachi should never have known. That was never explained either how Tachi figured it out.
艦隊砲撃戦用意。J タイプのミサイルが使えるのはやむを得んな。砲撃戦用意。
Which are what?
運動を行いつつである。多く狙え。
Not the J type.
I guess nuclear weapons?
The nuclear missiles.
Nuclear, yeah. The Gigolo missiles, yeah.
ある程じゃ乗っていないだろうな。
That's right
Because I'm
before.
about to
That's
kill you.
right before he slipped on that banana.
Yeah.
あと20秒で撃てます。
あと15秒です。各員用意。
Exactly right.
It's the difference between them, though, that she won't attack for fear that he's on there, but he will attack and hope that she's not on there.
I will kill them. If she dies, well, she dies, he dies.
待て。まだ撃たせるな。 引きつけて撃つ。
That actually looked like
Like it hit the bridge, yeah.
爆破手だ。
yeah.
よし、よく我慢した。腕。
I mean, I guess the thing is, Universal Century is going to go on long enough that, again, all these people will die of old age.
True.
So at some point, Char will die.
しかし、
うろうろ逃げるよりは足らんものだ。私が保証する。
あ、ザンジバル避けません。突っ込んできます。
なんだと。未来、右へ逃げろ。シャアだ。こんな戦い方をする奴はシャア以外にいないはずだ。セイラの言った通りだ。
That doesn't. It's not a
Oh,
compliment.
really?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, he's the only one who would ram. Okay, that
Actually,
doesn't
it's
seem like
not
a
even the
good thing.
first. Not even the first person to try to ram them.
Yeah.
Like
But
the third
I
or
think we've
fourth
all
person to try to
forgotten.
ram them.
Once again, we've all forgotten Ryu. I think.
No, well, there's Ryu. There was Garma who tried to ram them, failed. There was
持っている間に特攻なんかかけるからよ。
yeah, a lot of people try to ram them.
後部ミサイル、撃て。
I guess in fairness, Char is the only one still alive.
Yeah, to have survived it.
まだまだ逃げるものか。
Barrel roll.
あと一気のドン
Well, not even that. She
ガンダムは
did a half a barrel roll.
That's bad animation.
よし。
Wow. You notice that
狙いも
when you see it again, the
That's what-
barrel
that's-
was
that-
already
I
there.
just said that's
Yeah.
bad animation.
yeah.
He turned to be into the barrel.
Yeah.
付属物がついたぞ。まさかガンダムが。
Too many G's, I guess.
いや、
Yeah.
もし捕まったなら加速度のショックでパイロットは気絶しているはずだ。
It doesn't look like it's too many G's, though. He just looks catatonic. Because we've seen him pressed into the seat by acceleration
Yeah.
before. It's
Yeah.
not the same thing. 'Cause they go so far as like tilt his head to the side.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation.
Oh, look at that. One episode. Like I said,
Yeah.
some people just gotta feel. One episode feel.
他の
Yeah.
モビルスーツとザンジバルは
And the big mobile armors just died for one shot.
モビルスーツ1機は交代したわ。アムロ、大丈夫？
特案が沈められた。
シャア大佐、私に過ぎさせてくだ
That
さい。
always happens. Everybody you sent out dies except for you. You have one of the worst track records.
No, his other
Oh,
lieutenant's been around for a while.
yeah, but they don't go fighting.
Conceivably, Dren is still alive somewhere.
どうしてあんなことを。
My boy Dren.
さっきモビルアーマーに誰が乗っているかって聞いたでしょ。
何か
If I had to guess, I'd say it's a guy named
それ
Aquan.
だけのことよ。
そうですか。
Yeah, but every time he sends people out, they die. So he has like,
そうね。
well, Rambo Rao lost an entire command to him.
スレッガー注意。さすがですね。直撃はあなただけで。
Slayer's a pretty badass name.
まぐれまぐれ。それよりさすがだね、皆さん。あ、みんなご苦労。
敵も足が速くなったからよ。どうだった？怖かったよ。ザンジバルとすれ違った時はさ、ありゃシャアの戦法だな。シャアか。うん。他のやつにできる戦法じゃない。
いえ、尊敬しちゃうよ。セーラーさん、モビルスーツ一機撃墜、大したもんだ。
そんなやっとのこと。
そんなことはない。俺にはわかるよ。あんたの強さはすごいよ。よ、シャワーでも浴びさせてもらうぜ。5分間だけならな。ジオンはまたすぐに来る。了解。未来さんも行かない？
お一人でどうぞ。
はいはい。よ、行こうぜ。
はい。
行こう一緒に行こ
No, kids, don't.
Well, everybody went for a shower. All the guys went for a shower.
Just a
It's
bad
hot in that
influence.
Yeah.
Hey, it's my boy, Trent.
ホワイトベースの前にドレン隊員率いる無彩艦隊が
Oh no.
スレッガーの奮戦、そしてガンダムは無彩に特攻をかける。機動戦士ガンダム、次回強行突破作戦。君は生き延びることができるか？
I think I missed a prompt there. Did they say Slager disappears?
I don't think so. I gotta check.
Well, obviously, I
I
don't
know
go back and check, but
Yeah.
I also just miss some text sometimes in the next time
Yeah.
on as I'm like looking at stuff. Also, just my brain drifted off for a second. Like, it's like, oh, it's Dren. And it's like, oh, here's the white base bristling with weapons. Breakthrough. It's an attack episode. Oh no, Dren's gonna fucking die. I literally just invoked him. I think Dren's out there alive somewhere. Boom.
Well, at least
I
they
recognize
answered
that
question.
big ass nose anywhere. That's fucking Dren.
They answered that question. He's
Yeah.
still alive.
And he's leading the attack too. I think he's gonna get Garmad. Which isn't to say he's gonna try to ram them or something. I just mean this feels like one of those episodes where the leader of the attack also dies. Dren's not important enough to get the Char treatment.
Nope.
And
I'll tell you,
well,
he still gets opening and closing sequences.
this is one of those situations that I feel like Seed is the spoiler here. In that, I've already told you my boy Frederick from Seed.
Yeah.
Well, we know he died. Literally, when not Luca, that's Gundam Frontier. It's from Gundam
Yeah,
Frontier.
wow, yeah.
That's from across Wing. That's
Across Wing?
yeah, that's a joke.
Yeah.
I meant to say Lacus. The thing I would say is that Frederick dies in Gundam Seed when Lacus needs to break through the enemy, the enemy line. And this next episode is called Breakthrough,
Yeah.
where Frederick really feels like the Dren. Except for Dren has more character to him. Frederick is just like loyal and intelligent, whereas Dren actually also feels underhanded. The whole commentary we had back at the beginning, where Dren was more present, was that Dren feels like he actually enjoys the underhanded shit that Char has him do.
Yeah, he's a true henchman, truly loyal.
Yeah, that's what makes him more interesting. He's not like one of these, I've got my own sense of honor and why I'm fighting in this war, Xeon soldiers, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the mission. Dren is like, hey, if you give me command of the ship, I'm going to enjoy having command of the ship. Now, if you need me to drop you off on the planet, all about that shit.
But now that we talk about Macross again, and like I said earlier, now that the white base is going back to space, you can see the influence that Gundam, especially 79, had on Macross. Because again, big white ship, escaping, it starts on Earth, which is slightly different there, of course. But it's mostly in space, goes back to Earth, spends times on Earth, and now goes back to space again, right? Among other things. But that's sort of, and certainly that Macross started as a parody of Gundam, but they quickly discarded that. You can see the heavy influence. Also, you mentioned also that one of the characters, this new character is an influence for Roy in Macross, right? They kind of look the same, except this guy looks taller.
Don't look the same at all.
And but he looks taller and bulkier, right?
Roy would have been
skinnier, but about the same height.
No, I just don't. I was coming up with an example, but I didn't go anywhere. I was gonna say Roy would have been played like by a. Shoot, God, Dust Till Dawn, main character actor name, George Clooney. Roy would have been played like George Clooney. Maybe a George Clooney with like a 5 o'clock shadow. Whereas Slugger here is, I don't know, not George Clooney. That is
Fabio?
Well, no, I'm thinking, no, it's not Fabio. He's not that good looking. No, sorry, I'm trying to think of There's a guy
Actor.
whose face is coming to my head, and he's
yeah, that one.
he's
yeah,
pretty
second, yeah.
famous. No, he's pretty famous,
Of course.
but he's not. Well, no, he's not tall enough, I don't think, to play this role. And I can't remember. Apparently, he's been in a bunch of roles where he looks the same because all that's coming to my head is him in like a Hawaiian shirt.
Isn't that he the guy who was in the last Top Gun movie?
I didn't
That they
watch the
find to
last
play-
Top Gun movie.
That last Tornado movie.
I'm trying to. The only thing that's coming to me is that movie where they play like 70s detectives. It was like a.
Oh, they're too. Oh yeah, he was also in. He was in Barbie, right?
Yeah, I think that's him.
Played
Who
Ken.
plays
He
Ken?
played Ken. Yeah, I now know who you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
Yeah, well, I forgot. Actually, I didn't see Barbie, but I know he played Ken.
Yeah,
Like
he's not tall enough. for
yeah,
that,
that's what I'm
but,
saying.
yeah.
Him, but taller. And I can't think of any. Well, it's like movies, right? Tom Cruise is like 6 feet tall in the movies, but
Yeah.
4'11" in real life. It feels like I don't know. But yeah, that guy, but movie tight. Him.
Yeah.
Much prefer Roy.
Still a good episode, I think. Overall.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. It was just another episode of its type of episode, which is to say,
Yeah, but
pointless encounter episode. The only thing valuable about this episode is we encountered Slegger, because otherwise this was no different than Amuro fights McQueeve in the mobile armor
Yeah.
episode.
but I think it's the whole decoy thing, and now that the
Well, we're not even doing the decoy operation just yet.
no, because the decoy operation starts with White Base because they had to leave
No,
2
he has
hours
to join
earlier.
the 13th Fleet, which is Tiananmen Fleet. That's when that starts. That technically,
No.
this isn't decoy. This is Char.
This is the
no,
decoy.
this is not decoy. This is Char is just obsessed. They're not decoying anybody yet. Char just followed them because he would have anyway. They haven't joined the fleet to begin operations as decoys yet.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to join the fleet.
They are.
No,
They
they're
said
gonna
that
be part.
2 episodes in a
they're-
row. They're going to
they're gonna
become
be
decoys because
operational.
Gop finds them to be annoying as well. But they're going to be part of that fleet as the decoy. They're going to be wild weaseling their shit through there.
Yeah, but they're going to another completely different direction because the TM fleet is going directly to Luna 2, and White Base is supposed to appear
I don't
like
believe
they're
that
going
we
to
have
Luna.
shown that they're heading to Luna 2.
No, they're supposed to look like they're going to the moon.
No,
No way around.
I'm talking about the TNM fleet. We didn't get told
Yeah.
anything about where they were going.
Oh yeah, they literally the debriefing with Goppa is like we're
They
gonna take
only
it
showed
direct
one directional thing, and that was for the White Base direction to head towards.
to them, and now I can go back
Sure.
and show it. Okay,
It's different
okay.
from when you're Googling shit to prove me wrong. If you're at least in the episode, fine,
Yeah.
that's cool. Give me a timestamp.
Time step is 22:22.
22:22. That's not even what?
Yeah. Oh wait, no.
Nobody else
2
could have pulled
minutes-
that off.
2 minutes 23.
Yeah, how do you get
seconds.
2 minutes and 22 minutes fucked up? I like
'Cause it
it's
says-
the beginning of the episode, and you're like 22:22. You mean
It's
when
the end,
Slegger is hitting on Sayla?
No, that's the very end of the episode. It's 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Literally, there's L2 and then side 7. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's where Site 7 is, right next to
Yeah. And
Luna
then next
2,
to
because
you,
they use it for resources.
and then you see, the route for White Base, which is in the opposite direction.
God damn it. Okay, there we go. I must have paused like 17 times trying to get that blinking red arrow to stay on screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I missed it. That's fine.
It happens.
In
It was
my
pretty fast.
head, for some reason, my memory was the arrow going from what I cast was Luna 2, but I didn't register that in my head. Went from there towards the Earth, did a circle around the Earth, like a whole fake mission thing, instead of
That's
just-
White Base.
no,
White
instead
Base
of
going like that.
no, I'm saying, you know where the arrow is pointing towards Luna 2? in my head, it was going from Luna 2 all the way around towards the Xeon place that is supposed to be fake attacking, I guess. I don't know.
Now, what is confusing is that he basically says that you're going to be under the command of Tiananmen Fleet, but under that command, you're going to be doing this.
That's why I said 2 episodes in a row, you'll be part of the space operations in Tiananmen Fleet, the 13th Fleet, they called it.
Yeah.
Well, they called it 13th Fleet 1 episode, and they called it Tiananmen Fleet in 2 episodes.
Yeah. So, which makes sense from an operation like, this is a much larger operation. Your part should be the decoy. We're going this way. You're going that way. So it's all part of a much larger operation, but it can be confusing. Like, wait a minute, but the Tiananmen Fleet is going this way. Why are we seconded to the Tiananmen Fleet? We're not even going to meet them there, right? It's
Tiananmen Fleet.
Tiananmen.
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 No, you keep saying Tiananmen.
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 Tiananmen. It's whatever.
We've done this 100 times now, from origin to here. His name mimics an unfortunate thing, so we got to be very clear. Tiananmen.
Tiananmen. Yeah, Tiananmen. Yes, Tiananmen.
I mean, I don't have anything else to add. You say it's not a bad episode, but again, it falls into a category of throwaway episodes for me.
I mean, it's one. It built up on.
When we watch the movie, this episode takes up more than 5 minutes.
No, this is probably going to be like
2
dialogue.
minutes to a minute.
They're narrating going like, "Oh, and this happened," and we move on to the next part.
At most, all they have to do is show us that they got from Jaburo to space. Like, legitimately, the combat itself, nothing. Unless that thing comes back as like a whole fleet of them in space or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the battle unimportant. Literally, the only thing from this episode you take away is we launched, we're heading to that thing, Slegger is on board.
Yeah.
Which is a minute.
And people questioning Sailor. Like, what meant by Char was a... What do you...
Well, the problem there is that you don't actually need that.
No.
I mean, it's not that's not important. It's that it also all happens in this episode, which means that you could take it from this episode and put it anywhere else on the timeline future.
True.
Or if there's a payoff to that line of questioning, just have it in the part of whatever episode it appears in as that.
Yeah.
You know, everyone comes together on, hey, Salem's kind of been weird for a while now.
He's mentioning Char for some reason.
All right, well, anything else?
Nope.
All right, well, I think that is it for Gundam. So once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?